Welcome to another beautiful episode of Shoes Off Talk.
Yes, sir.
Just want to give God thanks for allowing us to see another day that was not promised. Hopefully, this broadcast finds everyone in good health and peace. If not, let's pray about it. Get through this thing that we call life. Floyd, it is Hump Day.
It is.
How has your week been so far?
Well, mine has been good. Good.
I don't like that little pause, bro.
Well,
I don't like that pause.
it's one of those things that you have all this stuff going on in your mind and your brain, but then at the same time you're like, oh, I got to do this. Oh my gosh, I got to do that.
So you're like preoccupied. Nothing
Right,
that you're complaining about.
No.
You're just
Yeah.
preoccupied
That's
with
it.
a lot that's going. And I think
know.
that's a lot of people's story nowadays is just them being so caught up in life and trying to figure this thing called life out. But whatever you can't figure out, just turn it over to God.
Yeah, because
let him
when
do
it
his
comes to
thing.
life, things happen in people's lives that is unexpected.
It is, and you can't predict one day to another day what it's going to be like. Just know that God makes it possible for you to lean and depend on Him. When you get to those moments where things look like you can't do it on your own.
Right.
So find some solace in that, and know that we're out here praying for you because we all going through it.
Exactly.
And the only way we're going to get through it is if we stick together. So let's dive right on in. I have an announcement to make.
What's your announcement, Tim?
I kind of spilled the beans on Instagram today, and it might be a little but I'm super excited to announce that I have signed on with the Young Agency, one of the top talent and modeling agencies in Arizona. They are nationally known. They've done a lot of amazing things in that field. This was so unexpected, and when I say unexpected, I mean unexpected. The last thing I would have ever thought was that I would be modeling or acting. And like I said, this is not to say that I'm the next top model or I'm about to be on a ton of TV shows, but you never know what God has planned for me because this was all Him.
That's right.
This
That's
was all
right.
Him.
That's right.
I can't take no credit for nothing. Not
That's right.
and nor do I want to. Because things that have Tim's fingerprints on it, it don't quite work out the way that
Come on now. That's
and
right.
so man, this wasn't nothing but God. Like I said, I didn't aspire to be an actor or a model or any of that. That has never been something that I wanted to pursue. I have affiliations with a lot of models. I have affiliations with a lot of actors. But I also know that a lot of the people, if not all the people that I know, was like a childhood dream for them.
Right. Exactly.
And so for me to basically fall into this and have it go so far as well as it's gone is just truly a blessing. But yeah, stay tuned.
Hey, congrats.
Stay tuned. Thank you. And especially I know we always talk about age ain't nothing but a number and this and that, but this is a barrier that is being broken down because we have this idea of what things are supposed to look like
Mm-hmm.
and when it's supposed to happen, because we've been programmed to think that at a certain age you should be married. At a certain age you should have the good job, the house with the picket fence, the family, um, like I said, stability in your job. We think of all of this stuff, and we've been programmed to think that all of this needs to happen, at certain ages.
Mm-hmm.
And so what we get caught up in is when these things don't happen at these preordained, man-made, you know, times in our life, that we look at ourselves as less than.
Right.
And we have to understand, like, these things that I'm talking about, they're not a man thing. They're a God thing. And with God, that, like the Bible says, it may not come when you want, but it's always on time. And
Exactly.
so it's not about man's time. It's not about your time. It's about God's time. And you have to be patient and diligent and understand that God is not going to put you through what he won't bring you through.
Right.
And so you just have to stay prayed up, man. And like I said, for me, the hardest thing, throughout these chapters and pages in my life is I've actually had to, like, sit down. I've always in the past found myself busy doing something, involved with something, and this and that, and was just wondering why things weren't happening as I wanted to happen and when I thought it should happen. And God said, sit down, sit down and let me do my thing. And it's just been falling into place. And so, yeah, my advice is just sit down.
And that's the thing, though, Tim. It's like that whole sitting down. It's a waiting period that a lot of us get to a point that we get impatient. And so we want to make things happen, in a timely manner, but then at the same time, if it's taking too long, then it's like, whoa, this is not gonna happen, or we need to hurry up and do something about it.
Oh yeah. Patience is one of the toughest things that we have, that we struggle with, especially if you're the kind of person that you're a go-getter. Like, you're used to doing something. Like,
Right.
For me, every day was, set aside for me to be doing something that progressed me further. Every day I wanted to have some kind of movement forward, regardless of how small or big that is. I wanted to be, able to say, okay, today was I got this done, toward whatever that goal was. But what we have to realize is just being blessed to see another day is a move in the right direction.
Right.
And being grateful and appreciative of that, because sometimes we take so many things for granted, like it's supposed to happen. And God is steadily, and the world steadily shows us that that we shouldn't take it for granted. As so many things are taken away from us, people are taken away from us. The world is changing right in front of us right now, and so that alone should be enough for us to start appreciating more of the things that we take for granted. And that is a perfect segue into today's topic, as we talk about, we didn't really have a specific topic, but a lot of times what we like to do on Shoes Off Talk is we like to talk about the current events. And we want to have this show be interactive with our audience. So if you're on Floyd's social media, or if you're on my social media, chime in if you have information, or if you have some discussions that you want to talk about. But I think the thing that we're starting to see have more and more conversation is the forever changing when it comes to import exports, cost of goods, the tariffs, and our damaged relationships that we're having with our foreign brothers and sisters. Um, and I will say this: it's probably going to get worse before it gets better. And so this has been a long time coming, y'all. This has been a long time coming. Those of us that travel out of the country frequently, we saw it coming. We understood how the import export works, the cost of goods. We see how that works. If you've ever had an opportunity to work with some of the bigger brands, I used to work for Nike, so I understand the inner workings of that. And so for me, this wasn't anything new. And I know I've seen a lot of social media posts where people are saying that it's going to hurt our job market. It is going to hurt our job market. But at the same time, our eyes are being open to the frivolous money that we're spending on these goods. And now China is exposing it and saying and letting these bags that you're paying 30, 20,000, 10,000, 5,000, a couple thousand for are really pennies on the dollar. And the manufacturers of these bags are coming out literally doing videos that are showing you how they make it, the quality that goes in it, and what you should and shouldn't be paying for it. And I used to try to tell people about it. It's like, hey, you do understand, like when we talk about fakes and replicas and all of this other stuff, like the fakes and replicas are coming from where we buy our quality stuff. Like Taiwan, China, Thailand,
Right.
all of these different places where our goods, when you look at the tag, it says it's coming from there. But then when you buy from there directly, now all of a sudden it's replicas, it's fake, it ain't no good. But you're wearing items from there. But
Right.
because when they get here and the US puts their stamp on it or Nike puts their stamp on it, now it's legitimate.
It's quality.
It's quality. And I think that's more of it than it is fakes and replicas. Is there's good quality and bad quality. Heck, I bought stuff in the US that carries a brand name that was horrible quality.
Oh yeah.
It sometimes gets through, even with the big brand names. That's no different than over there. Like you have good quality and bad quality. But I've seen it, man. Even in like Medellin, Colombia, they have a 3-story mall, and it's nothing but we'll say replicas, because I don't want to say fakes. Replicas means that using it in the context of mass produced, to where something here they may say it's a one-off, and which drives the prices up when they tell you, oh, there's only 100 of these, and so it'll cost you $5,000 to get it because it's only. But what you're not considering is the manufacturers overseas that made that. They didn't stop making that just for them. They made additional ones of that product that you're paying $5,000 for,
Right.
and you can go get it there.
Yeah.
And so that's what China is saying. It's like, look, y'all ain't got to keep buying from them, paying these ridiculous prices in America. We're going to open it up to where you can buy directly from us,
Which they have been.
and they're exposed. I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it because a lot of these big companies, it's gonna hurt their business, but they're paying people pennies on a dollar anyway in the manufacturing of these items. So there's got to be a balance. Yeah, they're gonna lose money. It's got to be.
Well, I wouldn't say they'll lose what they've been targeting, like what their profit margin won't be the same.
No, it won't. They're going to have to sell more to hit those numbers.
To hit those numbers they've been doing.
A lot more.
Because look at it. If they've been getting products from there, which is going to be, if they buy a boat I would say, let's just say $1,000, right, for a bunch of phones, and then they come over here and then they they sell them for $1,000 each. You know, so basically that's a big about 400 or 500% profit margin for them. You know, so it's they've made, yeah, I can see that. Like Apple and all them, they made quite a bit of money.
Bro, if you could, the cost of what's the latest iPhone?
The 16.
Uh huh. So that iPhone is what, $2,000?
I don't know.
You know what it costs to make that phone? What you can get it over there for?
I'm pretty sure it's real cheap.
Like $15. $15. And this is okay.
Oh, it's the iPhone 17.
Oh, the latest one is iPhone 17. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. So what this does though, so like I'm wearing the Samsung Ultra, the watch, and I was actually in Thailand when the watch came out, and I wanted it because I have a thing for bigger face watches, and so that latest iPhone watch that had the biggest, I was in love with it to the point to where I'm like, okay, maybe my second phone can be iPhone.
iPhone. Yeah, we doing iPhone.
Just because I wanted to watch. And bro, when the Ultra came out, I was like, huh. And I was in Thailand when it came out, and so I'm like, how can I get this? I need to have it. So they have a Samsung store in Thailand, and I'm like, oh man, it might be cheaper over here. So I went to the Samsung store, and it was actually the same price as what it was here.
Oh,
And it's because of the trade agreement that we have with the U.S. that even though the products were made and Samsung is an Asian company, the agreement that they have with the U.S. they agree that they would not sell their products that they send out to the U.S. cheaper over there. So what that means now, if the next Samsung watch comes out, I don't have to buy it over there for U.S. prices. I can buy it at the price they want to sell it for there. So I don't know if people understand what that means. Is like a lot of the products and services that we buy in these foreign countries that we are having bad relationships with, they no longer have to stick to the agreement or the agreed price of selling of their products.
Yeah.
So now what that's going to do is nobody is going to T-Mobile, nobody's going to Verizon to buy phones. Why do I have to? And then products like, because Samsung and Android are Asian products, iPhone gets all of their hardware and software from Android. I don't know if y'all understand what's going on. Like y'all don't really understand what's going on. A lot of people do. And I'm trying to put it in layman's terminology to where everybody understands. Is like, we no longer have to buy U.S. products that are manufactured in other countries, especially the countries that we are having struggling relationships with. We now can purchase it directly from the manufacturer.
So the products like smartphones from China for the imports is totaled out to 41.3 billion, and the shares of value is 81%.
Mm-hmm. In March 2025, China's exports saw a sharp increase of 12.4 year over year, and that's exports. So that's things that they have going out. They saw an increase of 12.4%, while imports, which means the stuff that is coming in, actually decreased 4.3%.
Because of the Well, one factor is because of the tariff thing going
Hmm.
on in the U.S. So yeah.
And so what we're going to see is we're going to see a shift of that number, and now the the it, the numbers are going to steadily go up when it comes to what they're sending out, because they no longer have to send it out, because now we're going to them to buy it. And so it's
Well, I mean, it benefits us and it benefits them. But one major portion of that is that by it benefiting them, their money is going to go more towards their economy, which is going to build more infrastructure for them, which is going to build more technology and devices to to uh, uh to help them out.
and that's not just it, bro. That, like, this thing is bigger than that. You're now gonna have, like, they're called expats, and that's just people that's making the decision to relocate. Like, what now is keeping me in the States? Like, it was already that my quality of life could be better living in a foreign country than it is here. Now you're telling me my little creature comforts that I love, it they're going to originate in the place where, I've always wanted to live when it comes to a foreign country. So it's what you're going to see in the media. You're going to see a mass media blast of every possible destination that people want to move. You're going to now start seeing uh, the media and the U.S. do everything to discredit uh, those places, because you saw that how everybody is talking about Thailand, Thailand,
Yeah.
Thailand, Thailand. Then all of a sudden they had the earthquake there,
Mhm.
and so
Yep.
what they did was the media blew that up to make people think that Thailand was falling into a crack. Which really and truly, I was in communication with people in Bangkok. I was in communication with people in Pattaya, which is an hour away from Bangkok. The people in Pattaya didn't even feel the earthquake, which is it's like from here to Tucson.
Mm.
They didn't even feel it. And then they tried to show talk about all of these deaths and all of these buildings that fell. In Bangkok, one building fell, and it was the building that was under construction.
Wow.
It wasn't even finished building yet. Nothing else fell. Some stuff shook,
Mhm.
but nothing else fell. But that was an opportunity for the U.S. and our media to
Yeah.
blast it and get people scared. Now people talk. I had people hitting me up, tell me, you still thinking about moving after this earthquake? I was like, you understand? I live in California. They have about 3 to 4 earthquakes a week. Nothing of the magnitude of
Yeah.
what hit Thailand. Are we gonna not talk about the tornadoes? Are we not gonna talk about the hurricanes that we have here? Are we not gonna talk about the drastic change in climate? I mean, really? We're not gonna talk about how Malibu is basically eroding and houses are falling off the side of cliffs in Malibu.
Sinking
I was
holes.
in Malibu. I was in Malibu, and I'm walking around Malibu looking at the sidewalks basically disintegrate. Like, you can see it. Houses that had this much cliff left are now, the house is like parallel to the cliff.
Wow.
Like, it's eroding. Like, but they're not going to talk about that because they want to, kind of plant that bad seed that, oh, you don't want to go there, because of this. And that earthquake won't be the last.
Right.
Right.
Right. No.
It's coming. They're going to talk about how unsafe it is. And I'm telling you, from somebody that has been all over the world, most of the places that people are talking about moving to, I've been to, and I've spent some extensive time. So when I go out of the country, I don't stay for a week. When I go out of the country, I stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I spent a lot of extensive time in a lot of these places that people are talking about wanting to move, and it's just the more popular the place is, the more our media is going to blast it and make it look like, okay, you don't want to move there.
Man, I'm telling you, I wanna. If I had a chance and everything,
you
was
do
good,
have a chance.
So if I had everything was good with these countries, especially China, I would love to go to China. Okay,
Bro, it's not. I'm telling y'all, take it from me. And if you have any questions, and I'm sure of our listeners, I'm not the only one that is well traveled. These places are not expensive at all to get to.
Right. Yeah.
They're not expensive at all. And the thing about it is, I'm telling you, the flights aren't expensive. But then when you get there, your lodging and your food is cheaper. So it's like your flight would be the biggest cost that you have to eat. But I'm telling you guys, when you travel and you get to these countries and see how other people live, the benefit of that trip will far exceed the amount of money that you paid for that trip. Like the enlightenment that you're going to have. Because let's be honest, we've been programmed to think that the U.S. is up here and everybody else is down here.
Right. That's what.
When in actuality, it's reversed, and it's really being more exposed now than at any time of how dependent we are of these countries. That it started with BRICS. Those 6 countries in BRICS that just broke away and said, "Hey, we don't need the U.S. no more.
Right.
We don't need them, bro." That was the start of it. It's coming.
Yeah,
we're going to be on an island by ourselves, and these countries are telling you. China's telling you. You don't even have to buy U.S. products. We're going to recreate them here in China.
But see, and that's the thing. That's the whole plan of what they're doing now is to create the U.S. its own structure, its own place, and that's what they're doing.
What's going to end up happening is, and this is really a telltale sign, and I'm telling everybody, get in touch with your roots. We have a lot of our roots stem from Africa when it comes to Black people. I forgot what the singer's name. What's his name from Africa? He went on the podcast Earn Your Leisure and was speaking to the Black community, telling them that they need to move back home to the motherland, to Africa, because Africa is basically wanting us to come back and invest in land and everything, and they're willing to financially support us in our endeavors, and they want us to build our country back up.
Yeah.
Because the thing about it is, white America has pillaged, stolen, and hidden everything about the original people that were here before they were. And for me, I look at this as, you want to steal it, you don't want to pay us for it, you don't want to give us credit for it, here, you can have it. We'll go back to where we originated from. The Irelands, the Africas, the all of these countries that are in our DNA. Well, you can have it. You can have it. You want it? You want to get us out of here? You want to get Mexicans out of here? We'll take it. The world is showing you that you're not taking care of your people that live here.
Right. Exactly.
You're trying to demolish and get rid of the people that built this country. So you want it? We're going to give it to you. We're going to make it super uncomfortable for you to live here, but you want it? You want to be the face of the U.S.
Mm-hmm.
You want white supremacy? We're gonna give it to you, but you're gonna be on the island.
Wow.
You're gonna be on the island by yourself. This is where this is what I've envisioned
Mm-hmm.
because there is a humongous black community in Thailand. When I say a humongous black community, you can go on Thailand and look on anything Thailand and say
Right.
black people in Thailand. You would be surprised at the number of black people in Thailand. Man, the last time I was there was I think the family was from Kansas City, and I was washing my clothes, and the girl came in, you know, and we got to talking, and she was out there for a flag football tournament. Her daughter was, and she was so giddy about being, ain't never been out of the country.
Mm-hmm.
But not only did the mother come, but the brother came, the sister came.
Wow.
I think they brought some kids with them as well. They made it a family trip. How about these people said they ain't going back home?
Wow. I believe it.
They were actively looking for places in Thailand. They said they weren't going back home. She said she's been on her job for so many years, and she doesn't see herself getting ahead. She's getting to retirement age, and she just fears that retirement will have her living worse than what she's living now, actively working.
Wow.
And she was so excited. I was like, so when are y'all scheduled to go back? She said, we have an open ticket. We didn't get she said, we didn't get a return ticket. Bro, you know how many stories I heard like that while being there? Guy from what was it, from Russia? He was, we would meet up at this place, this lounge, and just hang out. And we got to talking, and he said, yeah, man, I'm in. He does the trading. He's like a day trader,
okay.
And he does crypto and all of that other stuff. So that kind of stuff you can do from anywhere.
Right.
But he was just telling me about the increase in violence. He was like right before while he was out here, one of his friends got killed while he was out there. And so I had scheduled a real estate agent to show me some places. And on that same day, he had scheduled with the same real estate agent. So we went and looked at some places, man. I went and looked at a couple places, and then he went 2 days prior to look at a place. And he was out there with his dad. How about this kid found his dad a place and found him a place? They ain't going back.
Wow.
They ain't going back. And so that's what's happening here in the U.S. is we are getting more and more confirmation that we can have better lives elsewhere. Our current leadership, we don't control voting. We don't control the voting. We don't control who we choose as our leader. That stuff is already chosen for us. They just go through the rigmarole and the voting process. But a lot of that stuff is already chosen for us. They already know.
It's already rigged.
They already know where it's going. And so they're messing with the climate here. They figured out how to mess with the climate. They're controlling everything. They're controlling the black community. They're even at Veterans Cemetery. Anybody that's not white, basically, they're taking all of their information and all of their achievements off of anything and erasing everything. Oh yeah, like the cemetery in DC, they are literally wiping out any history as it relates to anybody that's not white.
Whoa.
Oh yeah, they're
even getting away with something like that.
Because look who you have in office. Look who you have in office. And now veterans benefits are at risk. They're talking about doing away with the veterans disability benefits, Social Security benefits, the whole nine.
Yeah,
like this is and And me as a veteran, it it sucks because while I'm still capable of doing the things that I do to make an income, you have veterans that are really suffering.
Yeah.
Like these guys are 100% disabled,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the injuries people look and when you think of 100% disabled veterans, you think of physical disability. Like you wonder why when you pull up and you see veterans plates, handicap plates, and the guy gets out of his vehicle and physically looking at him, you're like, there's nothing wrong with him. But a lot of our damage is mental.
Right.
Like I have PTSD. That's that's that was 40% of my 100% disability. And it's the unseen stuff, and it's crazy because these men and women have done so much for this country. They've done stuff that other people wouldn't do.
Right. Exactly.
Even your current president decided that he was going to draft Dodge.
Mm.
Like
Yeah.
I don't understand how we're so red, white, and blue, and we're so supportive and we love our country when you have somebody in office that has done everything that white people would consider to be a true American person,
Mm-hmm. A patriot.
a patriot.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's done none of it. But I tell people all the time, it's not about patriotism. It's about the fact that it's white supremacy. They mask it as patriotism. They mask it as that. They mask it as the American dream, and it's not. It's none of that. They just it's coming out now. You're starting to see interviews where prominent people are talking about a white society, and what's crazy is they're going to get what they ask for, because the thing about it is when you talk about getting rid of the Native Americans, when you talk about running the Mexicans out, when you talk about running black people out and stealing all of our history and all of these other things, and Asian people don't realize that there was a large portion of the Asian community that were slaves. They don't get enough credit for what they have done for the U.S. And we're not talking just trade. We're talking about they were forced to come here just like black people were, and they were enslaved. We don't talk about that enough. We don't talk about them enough, but it is. And so you're talking about getting rid of the four pillars that created this country, that this country was founded by.
Right.
Everything that you enjoy, the majority of it was if not all of it, black people have had. We're the cornerstone of it. And so you want to get rid of that? Fine, get rid of that. You don't have any allies. You're going to be on the island by yourself. You can have. I said it jokingly the other day. I was talking to somebody about moving out of the country. I said, if God bless and say the same, I'm out of here at the end of the year, end of the year of this year, beginning of next year. And I said, I am going to will to you a living will of the U.S. You can have it. I'm going to will it to you. Everything about it you can have. Don't ever say I didn't give you nothing. I'm going to will you guys that remain here, that feel like this is your only option. I am going to will you the U.S. Wow. This is my official announcement. I'm making it live on social media that I am willing. It's a living will. Mm-hmm. I'll put it in writing if you need me to. I am willing you all the U.S. You can have it. Have everything about it. I don't want no parts of it. I don't want no parts of it. You can have it. But yeah, man, we gotta start making the right moves, man. And just like when we banned Target and they took such a hit, right? This is gonna be way worse. Yeah, this is gonna be way worse. And like I said, China even said, we're not talking about just the stuff that we make that we send to y'all. We're going to recreate the things that you make and have your people have it available for them to not have to buy it at your price from you. Just come get it from China. We ain't got no agreement with you. We gonna make everything that the U.S. has its name on.
Wow.
And we're gonna charge it. We're gonna charge your people cost. So now, what do we need the U.S. for? What's the benefit of living here?
I mean, you got to look at it. They already got flying plane, car planes.
Our technology is nothing compared to this.
Oh my gosh,
it's nothing compared.
They literally got robot AIs standing there, ready to go.
And this is the other thing is like we have to also be mindful that a lot of our parts, our plane parts, and all of these other parts, and the things that you need to think about, vehicle parts, and all of this other stuff. Yeah. You have to understand the quality of all of that stuff is going to decrease. The quality of stuff. So you getting in these vehicles, and we no longer have the quality of parts and stuff that we're getting, or you jumping on these planes. I ain't trying to scare nobody or nothing, but I'm just saying it's the kind of stuff you got to think about. Yeah. You got to think about all of this stuff. What is the benefit of living in the U.S. now? There is no benefit. The only thing that I think about when it comes to me moving out of the country is the accessibility I'm going to have to my family. And if I was a millionaire, we're not talking about tens of millions. If I was a $1 millionaire, like if I had $1 million, my family would be gone. I would ask them, and they don't necessarily have to move where I'm at. Where would you want to live in the world? Because for me, it's more important for us to have a great quality of life than it is to be somewhere where we're living either beyond our means or we're not living at our means. And so I definitely would have them traveling, because I got family members that have never been out of, some of them ain't never been out of their state, more or less out of the country, and so I say it all the time, man, stop spending money on this frivolous stuff that has no value and start getting you some plane tickets. Start getting you some plane tickets to visit these countries. Stop going from state to state, because it's the same packaging, it's the same product, but just in different packaging, going from state to state. It really is all it is. Visit some of these countries, man. Man, you got countries out there that literally would pay you to live there because population ain't the best there. You still have access to like the major cities in that country, but they're paying. They are paying people. I've seen countries that will pay you $20,000 to $30,000 to move there, and then give you a stipend every month.
I know the president of Ghana, he was like talking about wanting people to come there, stay live there.
All of it, bro. All of it. And I don't know how much more of signs we need that our stay here. It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
Right.
We no longer need to prove to this country the impact that Black, brown, Asian people have had on this country. They know. And that's what's making them more and more fearful and threatened by us. And like I said, it's going to get worse before it gets better. Let them have it. Let them have it.
Yeah.
Let them have it. Look, man, I'm a wealth of information when it comes to traveling, being in other countries. So if you guys have any questions about moving abroad, and not only that, it's available. Like I'm sure if not me, of 3 or 4 people that are close to you that have decided that are looking at making that move to another country, have talked about it, have been there. I'm telling you, it's an uncomfortable feeling. The not knowing just in general about anything is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. But that's what are people that they have put in leaderships that are a huge portion of our program. That's what they're banking on. They're banking on you being too scared to make that move. They're banking on it, and they're going to do everything in media to dissuade you from wanting to make that move. They're going to show you all the worst uh, views of wherever it is you're trying to go. But you got to understand, like like I said, it's going to get worse here before it gets better. Moving from state to state is not the remedy. Like I said, it's just a product packaged in different packaging, but it's the same product no matter where you move. But yeah, uh, this was I was excited about this because it's such a big part of my life right now. But like I said, I'm going as God leads me. Um, if the end of this year, beginning of this year is not the appointed time that God has for me to get out of here, then so be it. I've turned my life over to Him and let Him plan out my life, and we'll see. But what I'm seeing from what I'm reading and what I'm seeing is the door. The U.S. is closing. It's closing. I don't see it getting any better. Those of you that have decided that you will support our current leader, I don't know any of y'all that make enough money to be friends with him. So I don't know how you see yourself benefiting from our current leadership, but that's a decision that you make. Yeah, each his own. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Like I said, if you guys have any questions about moving abroad or any of these foreign countries that I've been to, feel free to message me. A lot of you guys that I'm seeing have my numbers. You can reach out to me directly. Something in your heart is telling you it's time for a change. And it's not in the U.S. I say this and I say it, and people think that I'm joking. I'm 55 right now, and I'm probably going to live to 110. So, which means that I got another 55 left. But I need my next 55 to look better than my first 55. And I do not see the U.S. giving me that quality of life I need.
You got 30 years of modeling and acting.
Hey.
So then after that, then you probably be teaching everybody else how to do it.
So for those of you that tuned in late, I had some breaking news. I officially signed with the Young Agency, one of the top agencies here in Arizona. They're nationally known. They've been around for 30 years. And literally, I tripped over a crack and fell into it. Like this was not. I had no ambitions on being an actor or modeling or any of that. Never looked at myself like that. But God has opened that door. I officially signed on with them yesterday, and this is something different for me. And like I said, when you ask God to intervene, you better know what you're getting into because it's going to be uncomfortable. It's definitely going to be uncomfortable. Majority of times that God intervenes and is ready to take you to higher heights and deeper depths, it's going to be uncomfortable. And I'm telling you, bro, this is I've done a lot of stuff in my life, and so I'm familiar with everything. This is what I'm not. This is what I'm not, but I'm super excited about it.
Yeah.
You guys, like I said, keep me in your prayers. Those of you that have been in this industry, hey, get in my ear. Get in my ear, because I am 55 years old, and I don't know very many that started in this industry at 55. But we are breaking down barriers.
That's right.
We're breaking down barriers, and we're starting it. We're starting it today.
There it is.
But yeah, man, I appreciate you guys tuning in. We love you. Like I said, we appreciate the time that you give us. We don't take it for granted. And yeah. Oh, the other thing is, we are looking for a guest host, not a full-time host, but a guest host. Our lives sometimes get busy. Things happen, and we're looking for. We like to talk to some fresh faces, get an idea of your background and what you do, your interest in podcasting, um, and try to get some people in here uh, as guest hosts, being available to be a host on the podcast. If you're interested in starting your own podcast, we can help you with that as well. Even when I move, when God says I'm able to move, if I move, um, we will be keeping this location here open. And what I will do is wherever I'm at, I'm going to open an additional location to where we can kind of communicate and have um, countries talking to people that are over in some of these foreign countries, get a better perspective of what life is like outside on our platform. So I'm excited about it, praying about it. As long as I'm in agreement or if God is in agreement with me, then we will see that happen. But yeah, we appreciate you guys tuning in. We know this is Hump Day. I hope you guys have had a blessed week up until this point. Going into your weekend, I hope you have a blessed weekend. Keep God first and stay prayed up. Amen. And how we end all shows:
love, peace, and